This is kind of like mysterious sounding music. Sus.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. In the distance, someone is crying. It's a long, thin, perpetual wail, like the incessant warning screech of a sandstorm siren. The sound is hurting your ears, but it won't stop. In fact, it almost seems to be getting louder. The first thing that you realize when you sway back into consciousness is that the sound is coming from you. It's no wonder, really. You don't think you've ever hurt this badly in your entire life. When the air touches your flesh, it burns. When your body shifts, it sears. Which sucks because you're pretty sure that someone is carrying you while they fucking sprint for God's nowhere. The worst of it all, though, is the headache. This dastardly, horrible migraine and the incomprehensible screaming in your head. Something feels very, very wrong. Memories start to return to you in flashes. You remember your mama lighting sticks of incense, and you remember their smell, potent and overwhelming. You remember feeling the heat of the rising sun in your face and the pressure of your mama's hand as she laced her fingers through yours. You remember her smiling down at you as the daylight began to turn her skin golden as it rose. "Close your eyes, Keema," she said to you. You closed your eyes. And then there was only pain. But you recognize the heaving breaths of the person cradling you in their arms as they charge headlong through the desert. You recognize her scent and the texture of her fur. It's your godmother, Naren. She glances down at you with a face full of worry when you finally blink open your eyes. "It's all right, Keema," she says in between breaths. "You're all right. You're going to be all right. You're strong." You are 6 years old.
Oof.
She is running with you headlong. You can sort of look around now and see that you are somewhere in the desert. You were in the desert not too long ago. It looks like it's just barely past daybreak at this point. So whatever happened to you must have happened minutes ago. And she's just carrying you through the desert as fast as she can.
I I think little tiny Keema, through all this pain, and tries like with a croak in her voice, is just, where's Mama?
Naren doesn't answer you. She just keeps repeating, "Everything's all right. You're going to be okay."
I think Keema then just keeps repeating, just, where's Mama? Where's Mama?
It gets to the point where Naren starts to realize that her telling you everything's going to be okay is not going to assuage your teeny tiny concerns. So she just fully focuses on breathing so that she can pick up speed and keep going.
God, yeah.
Eventually, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm just imagining for a 6-year-old. Okay, keep going.
Hey, you were like, this thing happened to her when she was 6. I was like, bet, we're going to play it out. Let's do it.
Holy fuck.
You crest a final dune, and Naren loses her balance briefly, falling backward on her butt and sliding the rest of the way down into an oasis through the sand on her bum, still cradling you in her arms. You can, turning your head just a tiny bit, as much as you can before it starts hurting again, you can see the crew is already starting to stand and prepare for trouble, their noses sniffing the air. I don't know if you heard her little meow protest.
I did not. I just saw you suddenly like, alright, down.
Their noses are sniffing the air, their ears are desperately swiveling to listen for a harbinger of danger. Instead, all they hear is Naren shouting for Hazina. "Hazina! Hazina, I need you now!" You see this older gnollish woman. You think that she might be distantly related to Naren. This is sort of Keema looking at stuff in retrospect. You think that Hazina's probably related, but you know Hazina at this point, at this stage in your life, mostly because she's very nice to you. She is not, she's older, and she's kind of past her days where she, needs to be aggressive to get everything that she wants, and so she's chilled out a lot. And so she's very nice to you. And you see her now pushing her way through this gathering crowd that's starting to kind of come together. People are starting to wake up and look around and see their captain coming sliding down the dunes. Hazina pushes through and says, "Ye gods, poor thing, what on earth happened?" "Never mind that. Help her." Um, this is something you would look back on later on and realize that despite the fact that Niama's teeth was at its largest at this point in your life, they didn't actually have a doctor on staff at the time. It was just happenstance. Like the last doctor they had just happened to leave like a few weeks earlier. Is what you've heard. It just is bad luck. So in between having doctors available, Hazina, who was sort of the oldest member of the crew, sort of takes a step in, and she has a little bit of first aid knowledge here and there. Naren lays you down on the ground, and immediately Hazina starts calling for bandages and like pointing at people to, get them to get her things. The whole crew is awake and aware by now.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm pulling back from like what adult Keema would be thinking, more like how a 6-year-old would be
Yeah.
reacting. I think she's just crying and still just like constantly looking around for Mama. Like, where's Mama?
Yeah. You look around and you don't see her anywhere. You blacked out. The last time you saw her was right before she told you to close your eyes. And then you closed your eyes and you did not see her again. You have no idea.
Oh boy. Yeah, just crying then.
Okay. Eventually, people start bringing over some first aid supplies. They bring over some. They find some aloe that's happens to be growing near this oasis, and they break off a chunk of it and bring it to Azina, and she starts applying it to your skin, and it cools and it feels a little bit better. And they bring her some bandages, and she starts dipping them into the water of the oasis next to you, and gently placing them around your arms and your chest and your legs and a couple of other places. And it doesn't make it like stop completely, but it helps. It's relieving the immediacy of this searing pain that you're in. And while all this is going on, you see another figure pushes through the crowd. And you recognize her immediately because even as a 6-year-old little girl, you already can't stand this bitch. She's just mean to you for no reason. Why? Like, she's a grown-ass adult at this point because of the way that Noel's age. And
Adult got beef with a kid.
she's got beef with a 6-year-old. And, like, sure, she's 7 years old, to be fair. She's only a year older than you, but she's developmentally an adult. She's basically 18 years old by human standards, and she has beef with a 6-year-old.
Fuck. I love her.
You watch Seer pushes through the crowd. She sneers down at you. Just like like one hackle kind of twitching and raising, and she says, "Why is she acting like that?" Xena snarls up at her. "She got hurt, Seer." She rolls her eyes, the most dramatic fucking eye roll you've ever seen, and says, "Well, then maybe you should have left her where you found her, Mother." Niren barks at her. "Damn it, Seer! She is a liability, and she has been since day one. If she can't handle a little fire or whatever," Naren fully rounds on her and says, "I said shut your mouth!" And Seer immediately claps back with, "How about you make me?" And you watch as Naren fully tackles her daughter. This is pretty normal for their relationship.
Holy shit, I love this.
And honestly, it's fairly, for what you understand, even as a 6-year-old and certainly as, a 25-year-old, this is pretty standard for like most pack dynamics between a mother and a daughter, for Knowles. Seer at this point, again, is 7 years old. So she is an adult, but she's still kind of more wiry than strong. She's quick, but Naren has the advantage of experience. It's old age and treachery. And she has Seer pinned to the ground in 6 seconds flat. And you hear her growl in her daughter's ear, any other opinions you'd like to share? Seer doesn't say anything else.
Oh my god!
And eventually Naren just like very roughly like does one of those like lets her up, but doesn't just like lift a hand up. It's like and gets up.
Push back down, like stay
Fuck
down.
you. Yeah. And Seer just kind of waits till she walks away and slowly pulls herself back up. It's very much like a dog fight.
Yeah.
Like,
holy fuck.
and she rushes back over to you. I would like to pause every now and then. I know that that Keema doesn't have a lot going on in her little baby brain right now, which is totally fine. But I also don't want to talk over you in the scenes. So
Yeah, no,
I
you're
want to give you
good.
the opportunity to say stuff.
I think I'm trying to couch everything in like baby brain.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
as a player, I'm like I want to look around, I want to figure out what the fuck went on, but I'm like,
Oh, sure, yeah.
but she's so little and her world is pain right now, so I'm like, I think in that slight kid-like curiosity, despite the pain, is like trying to like just also now look like at herself in that moment, like,
Mhm. Yeah.
because she heard fire and she's like, was there fire? Am I like burned?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is with the application of some of the medicinal stuff that Hazina has been doing over the past couple of minutes. You are in again, you're still in pain, but not so severe that you can't like move around and look at yourself. So you like lift up an arm and you can see like the whole arm is covered in these bandages that have been wetted in the water. And you can see on the other arm that she hasn't really gotten to yet, you do indeed have like a big burn scar on one of your arms. Or not even a scar at this point, it's just a burn. And it's red and gnarly, and it's one of those burns where in retrospect, it's not going to cause like a massive scar, but in the moment, ow, that hurts. I don't remember which of the burns is the worst one. I can never remember if it's 1st degree is the worst burn or 3rd degree is the worst.
I think it's 3rd degree. I think 1st degree it's like not so bad, and when it goes up, it gets
Mhm.
worse.
I'd say these are probably, just for your reference, they're like between 1st and 2nd degree burns. They're not super severe, but you're 6 years old and therefore this is the worst pain you've ever been in your life.
Yeah.
And still, like you have 1.5 degree burns over a large majority of your body. It's
Oof.
on your legs, it's on your arms, it's on your chest.
How does my head feel?
Your head aches so fucking bad.
Like
It
someone.
hurts. Yeah, I mean it that's the closest thing you can get to it at this point, like with your 6-year-old mind. Like you must have hit your head on something. You've hit your head on things before. You've hit your head on Seer's head before, and it hurt. She like picked you up once because she was mad at you about something, and you fully headbutted her, and you had a headache for 3 days. But so did she.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
this is pretty close to that, and it just throbs.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's about as much as she's like actually doing, besides then just still kind of
Yeah.
like trying to bring back tears after hearing Seer like comment. She's like, what's wrong? What you're talking about?
You, as you're inspecting yourself, you see or you hear one of the other members of the crew pipes up and says, "Where's Captain Kasnavi?" And Naren at this point has come over to you again, from having, put Seer in her place. And you watch, you like, I imagine Keema would probably instinctively like immediately look over at Naren, like, yeah, what has happened? Like,
Yeah,
what?
where the fuck?
And you watch in a split second this very strange expression crosses Naren's face. It's worry, it's fear, it's maybe some kind of realization. There's a pause, and then she looks at you, she looks at Hazina, and she says, keep working on her. Keep Seer away from her. I will be back. And she stands up, and she starts to walk away. She starts to climb the dune again.
Keem was trying to get up, like, I can follow. I can go. Where's Mama?
Hazina, like, gently pushes you back down. Like, listen, it's okay. You need to lie down. Okay, you're very hurt.
But Mama, she's gonna get Mama.
She's gonna go. She's gonna go get your mama. Okay. But right now I need you to stay here. Okay. Listen. How about I will get you. If you stay here, I will have someone go. She like leans down and whispers conspiratorially to you. I will have someone go and bring you some chocolate from the chocolate stash. This is a very special thing. Chocolate is hard to come by.
That there's still concern and like pain, obviously, all like intermingled in Keema's face, but she's kind of relaxed, like, okay, chocolate.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get you some chocolate. You'll be okay. Seer, you don't see Seer because she's like off behind the group of people that have sort of gathered around at this point, but you hear that bitch scoff or snort or something at this. You're pretty sure it's probably about this. Even at 6 years old, you've started to get like an understanding of what's going on here.
I think as a 6-year-old, she still heard curse words, so she still has like the vocabulary of like, oh, she's a bitch.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. You're one of those little kids that like, the like, have you seen the trends where parents will be like, okay, they'll put up a camera in like their bathroom or whatever, and they'll bring their toddler in and be like, you can say as many curse words as you want, but it has to be in here, okay?
Yes.
They just go, bitch, motherfucker, or something.
Keema just would do that, but then also do it on the playground around the other kids, even though she's like, yeah, I'll only do it in front of the mirror. And then on a playground, God, you're such a bitch.
Yeah, for sure. The good news is, these are literally sailors. They all have sailors' mouths, and none of them give a shit. Hazina takes care of you. You start to feel a little bit better. You get your chocolate.
Yes.
That's very nice.
She absolutely will eat some of it, and half of it she'll like store in like a pocket, not fully thinking of it melting.
Sure. You're taken care of. You're well taken care of. This is your family. This has been your family all your life. And some of them can be a little bit more aggressive. But you're learning to be pretty aggressive yourself. You're pretty scrappy even for a 6-year-old. And it's your family. It's just how things are. This is normal.
Yeah.
And they take care of you. Naren returns late that evening. Your mother is not with her. That fateful morning was 18 years ago. Since then, your life has been a blur. I do have dates for you, by the way, for the stuff if you want them.
Bless,
so.
yes.
Some of them are more vague dates, others are not so vague.
Yeah, that's fine.
The events that just happened occurred on, let me scroll up, the 1st of Vulpec in the year 84.
Okay.
These events are going to be occurring, and what we're about to get into are going to be occurring in the month of Gallus in the year 102. This is about a year before present day.
Okay. Year before present day.
That fateful morning was 18 years ago. I'm prepping to switch the music. A tactical music switch. Since then, your life has been a blur. See if it works. Under your godmother's supervision, you grew strong and agile and canny. You learned how to fight, how to sail, how to barter, bribe, and threaten. You've accumulated battle scars, developed your own sense of style, and you've added an impressive number of notches to your bedpost. And on days like today, it's easy to forget the gnawing void in your chest and the plague of headaches that happens whenever you take off the earrings that Naren gave you just a few days after the events of that fateful day. And the voice that murmurs in the back of your mind when you have those earrings on. You are 24 years old. And you are the first mate of the fleet, or at least one of the 2 first mates. We won't get into that. And right now, you stand on the deck of the Zephyr, the wind whipping through your hair as Eloisa adjusts the sails to bank around a copse of cacti before resuming formation in the fleet's flying V. Ahead of you, you can hear Naren shouting orders to her crew on the Fang as they pave the way toward Dryscar. To your right, a good distance away, thank the gods, is Seer commanding the Nemesis. The Scarab trails behind her just as the Viper coasts in the Zephyr's wake. Boulder, Captain, calls your artillerist, Adebola. Captain in this case is an honorary title, which is only afforded to you when you are in command of a ship like you are right now. You are still the first mate, but when you are in command, they, for the simplicity's sake, because it's easier to say captain for a major, thing than it is to say first mate.
Yeah.
They just call you captain.
Okay.
The middle-aged Knoll, Adebola, points ahead, keen eyes having spotted a boulder hidden within a patch of shrubs. That the Zephyr would normally have no problem gliding over the shrubs, but the boulder is going to be a whole different issue. Eloisa, your topman on this particular vessel, braces to adjust the sails again and says, "Around or over, Captain."
Does the boulder look like it could be like sloped that you could like Mario Kart it?
It is. Give me a perception check.
Perception. Is 11.
11. It is a little bit hard to tell, and that's primarily because there's this vegetation in front of it, that's kind of obscuring what it actually looks like. It could very well be a slope, or it could be like just a fucking hard stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Keema's gonna like kind of look out and be like, "I think we could get some air with that. Full speed ahead."
Okay. You have 2 choices. You can either tell them to spike the rocks or to cut the slack, and I will explain to you what both of those mean.
Okay, thank God.
There will not be a quiz on this later, I promise.
Oh, thank God.
I'll send you stuff.
Okay.
You have 2 sailors at your command. These are people who are going to basically, they have various duties on the ship while it's going around. They are Bakudin and Tansa. Spiking the rocks, if you tell them to spike the rocks, that basically means that they are giving the levitation stones more juice to bump you up a little bit so that you can glide straight over.
Okay.
If you tell them to cut the slack, that basically means you're going to have them help Eloisa grab the sail and pull it taut so that it catches the wind more and lifts you over instead of hovering higher.
I think cut the slack, and Keema would try to then physically help with that because I know she's physically stronger. Like,
yeah,
to hold the rope. Like, hey, let's get some air.
Perfect, absolutely. Give me an athletics check.
Ooh, 21.
21. Oh, easy, no problem. This is something you have done a million times. Let's get some fucking air, baby.
Hell yeah.
the four of you together, with Eloisa kind of, heading this effort, the four of you grab onto this, I don't know the specific term for the line, but you grab onto the line and you pull, and with the four of you adding your weight and your strength to it, you're able to cut the slack enough on this, on the main sail, such that the wind from behind you picks up the ship and lifts it a solid couple of additional feet into the air, just enough for it to just skim the edge of that boulder. And as you let the slack go again, it comes back down and you keep going.
Oh, she is whooping and hollering the whole time, just like, woo!
Jump cut to like an hour later, you are pulling into berth in Dryscar. Of course, the Fang pulls up in front of you, followed immediately by you and the Nemesis, and then the Scarab and the Viper immediately behind you.
The fucking Nemesis.
I was looking at them, I was like, they would each be commanding a ship. Which one should I give Seer? The Nemesis. It just makes sense.
Oh my god.
Let me pull up my Dryscar notes. Dryscar is a town, or a pretty major city. It is the capital of the barony of Arid Sol. It is one of the various places that you put into port. And it is sort of sits between the edge of the Carrion Expanse and the Red Wilds, these two deserts, two major deserts in Rutham. It is called Dryscar because it resides inside, at least as far as legend tells, inside a crater that was left behind by the Great Tarask, which rampaged a few hundred years ago.
That's right, I forgot you told me about that.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
As the legend has it, and you can hear this fucking story told in just about every, CB bar in this area. Where's my fucking notes about this? The dragons got together with the people of this, early Retham, and together they attacked the Tarask, and they knocked it over onto its side, and they didn't kill it, and it got up and continued to rampage down the coast until it was eventually felled in the city that is now called Bone Rest, that is built inside its great corpse. But here in the city of Dryscar, we remain in the imprint that it left when it fell the fuck over.
When it fell the fuck over.
Is basically the story of this town.
Oh my fucking god.
And you are here right now because your the three of the ships just need normal service. There are several levitation stones on the ones. Where did I put it? On the Scarab, the Fang, and the Zephyr, all need to get new levitation stones installed. Not all of them, but like one or two here and there are starting to act up. They're going on the fritz, so
okay.
Just normal repair. As you pull into port, everyone kind of, the ships start to slow down, and your two sailors cut the power to the levitation stones, and they just kind of come to a rest on the ground with this jolt that you have become used to by now. People start hopping off and start unloading cargo and, getting stuff ready to go into town. It's shore leave. You're going to be in here a few days because it takes a little while to install these fucking rocks. So you're ready to fucking rock and roll.
Hell yeah.
You've been to Dryscar enough times. You got some people in town.
Yeah, well, I was about to ask that. It's not any of the people that we talked about before, because... No. Okay.
Those all happen to be in Sports Run.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I think Keema would hop off and immediately just be like, alright, I'm going to the bar if anyone wants to come with. Let's go!
Hell yeah, let's go! A couple of them are very excited about that. As you start to unload stuff, because there's a few things you got to get done before you can, actually go off and do things.
Yeah, I think she kind of forgets that momentarily, we're kind of, hoping, maybe that'll be taken care of? No? Okay, I'll help.
I'll get to it. You watch Seer, like, hop off her boat at about the same time that everybody else is hopping off theirs. She makes a beeline for you, because of course she is.
Of course.
She does not look happy. And you don't know why.
Keema's fucking ignoring her. As soon as she sees the beeline, she's like, alright, I'm just gonna ignore.
That was some fancy fucking flying.
Keema's just doing her work, ignoring.
Hey, look at me when I'm talking to you.
What? What were you saying?
She, like, pushes one of your shoulders. Next time you have a fucking death wish, why don't you leave my fucking boat out of it?
I wasn't near your fucking boat.
You were on my fucking boat. That's my ship.
Not today.
You want to go into this again? I will beat your ass.
You can't.
Don't laugh at me. What, you think that something's funny?
Yeah,
She's
you're
like-
a clown.
She immediately goes for you. Like,
Keema, like, already is like, yeah.
scrapping immediately. It lasts for, like, just a couple of seconds before Naren stomps over and breaks it up. Alright, that's enough, both of you. She turns to everybody and says, listen up, people. We've all got a few days of shore leave while we get these new rocks installed on the ships. Before you all go running off in different directions, I want everything tied down and secured. I do not want a repeat of Scorch Run. A year ago, while in port at Scorch Run, someone didn't properly secure one of the ships, and Black Lion, one of your rival crews, ended up stealing it.
Oh no.
Naren has since removed the people that were responsible for that slip-up from the crew, but she's been paranoid about losing another ship ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And every fucking time you go into port for the past year, she's been like, I don't want to repeat a Scorch Run. So it's like yes.
Like,
We
yes,
got
I know, we know. We'll tie him down. He'll be fine.
Seer, as Naren kind of like nods at you, nods the rest of the crew, kind of gives them a look of get back to work. You see some of the gnolls that you recognize as friends of Seer's, people that are particularly close to her, start to gather around her. And before Naren can walk away to, continue her duties, Seer says, we're taking the Nemesis to the Watchers to go hunting. We'll be back in a few days. Naren turns around, looks at her. What are you talking about? Do I need to repeat myself? What you need to do is not take that attitude with me. You're not going anywhere. Yes, I am. I take good care of my ship, unlike some people. She glances in your direction. And the Nemesis won't need a refit for another 2 months. I'm bored of Dryscar, and I'm going hunting. Naren rolls her eyes. Fine. Go. Have fun. Seer's gonna...
You're just letting her go?
She has a point. Her ship doesn't need any repairs. If she wants to spend her shore leave hunting in the Watchers, that's up to her.
Alright. Just makes a face at Seer like,
She just kind of glares at you, turns slowly, and starts heading off back to her ship with her friends. Basically, they switch out her crew, because it's like, not all of her friends are on her ship. Naren has made sure that that is not the case, because she knows how Seer can be, and doesn't want to repeat. There was one time where Naren did allow Seer to have all of her friends on one ship, and they almost ran your ship off of, like, into a ditch. And called it was an accident. We didn't do it on purpose.
I really see Keema lunging at Seer. She's like, it was an accident, bitch.
Yes. It's like if Mean Girls were also like bodybuilders, is kind of what you're dealing with.
Holy fuck. I also want you to know that Keema absolutely fights just as dirty as Seer. And
Sure.
has definitely picked up instincts from like gnoll fighting, so like she'll bite and she'll like absolutely like use her nails and claws just like
I love that. It's fantastic. I'd imagine as well that, of course, Keema is a very strong character. Seer has a little bit of weight on her just because she's bigger as a race.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd imagine, I don't know what Keema's dexterity score is, but I imagine that she's at least a little bit nimble from.
She's got a +3.
Oh, then yeah, great. I think that probably a lot of. I think that there are probably some situations where Keema is able to pull one over on Seer from strength alone, but I think there's also a lot of opportunities where Seer is just a little bit slower than Keema is, and you know that.
Oh
And
yeah.
you take that shit all the time. Fuck that bitch.
She takes her small size. She's like, "Oh, you can't hit me. You can't touch me."
This is Seer off so much. The bad news is that when Seer does get her hands on you, it's not great.
It's like always in the cartoons where they feel like the big guy finally gets the little guy just like.
Yeah, that is basically what's going on here. Seer is, mechanically speaking, a barbarian.
Yes.
So yeah, she's beefy.
Yeah. Beautiful. Mwah, I love her.
I love her too, and I love to hate her. She's great. Seer leaves. You go about your business. You unload everything. You get the ship tied off and secured, and all the bells and whistles, and you double check it just to make sure, because it wasn't you that did it, but you.
Apparently, I gotta be just as cautious. Like I did it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And you start to leave to go drinking. And you hear your mother's voice, Naren's voice, call out to you. She says, "Aren't you forgetting something?"
What am I forgetting?
You turn around and she tosses you a sword. And immediately posts up in a battle stance. You owe me.
Right now?
You've been avoiding this. Yes, right now. We've been on a boat for days.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of want to get a drink.
This is important, Keema.
We're gonna be here for a while. I mean, maybe tomorrow?
All the more time for us to practice then. Besides, won't it feel better to drink with a couple of bruises on you? A couple of stories you can tell in the bar.
In this instance, I don't think so. I think I just want to drink.
Defend yourself. We don't necessarily need to roll this out, play by play.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, is Keema actually trying? Or is she phoning it in?
I think she's just phoning it in at first. Absolutely. Sure. She's just like going through the motions, like, alright.
Naren is not going through the motions. And you end up getting kind of walloped. She doesn't like hurt you because she wouldn't do that. But she makes the point. And you end up on your ass a few minutes later. She looks down at you, says, "Your form is all wrong."
Yeah, no shit. I'm on the ground.
Don't take that attitude with me. I'm trying to help you.
Can't you just, give me a couple extra days to, get my beer legs before doing this?
You're not always going to have time to prepare yourself, Keema, and I'm not always going to be here to be able to protect you forever.
I don't need your protection.
Huh. Okay.
Really?
Look. You are a capable young woman. You have a lot of potential. But I'm starting to think that Seer might have a point. Do you have a fucking death wish? Because sometimes the way that you act...
Why the fuck are you taking her side?
I'm not taking her side. I'm saying that she has a point.
What the fuck did I do wrong today that suddenly has you both down my throat?
Done anything wrong, Keema. I'm trying to protect you and make sure that you are ready for anything that might happen. because you're
I'm
not always going
ready.
to have an opportunity to prepare yourself beforehand.
Naren, I'm fine. I'm ready. I can. I'm fine. I'm already first mate with Seer. I know how to run the crew. I know how to run the ship. I can fight. You know that.
I know that you can fight. I'm not saying that you can't.
Well,
What I'm saying is that there are some things that you are not prepared for that one day might come about that you need to be ready for.
like what? You.
I don't want you to get hurt.
She like points at like all the scars. Like that. You kind of missed that window.
I don't want you to die, Keema.
Oh, well, that's
I want
easy.
you to be careful.
I don't want to die either. So we're on the same page there.
Please take this seriously.
I. What? You don't do this with Seer. You just
I
let
don't have to
everything
do
go
this
off
with
and
Seer.
hunt.
I don't have to do this with Seer. We've had this conversation. We're not having this conversation again.
Look, are we done?
Well, yes, we're done.
Great. Alright. I'm gonna be at the bar if you need me.
She doesn't really say anything in response. She just there's this familiar tension between you. She seems disappointed, but is also not, gonna continue to argue with you about stuff.
Yeah, Keema at that point, I think internally, like, she wants to push more, but she also knows that she won't get, like, more answers or clarification on stuff, so she's just like, fucking, I want a drink. I wanted to get out of here and out of this, so I'm leaving.
You head out. You start to go. As you sort of walk away and head into town to go to one of your favorite spots to drink, one of your favorite drinking holes, the voice in the back of your mind used to murmur incomprehensibly, like someone talking in their sleep, the faint flicker of candlelight across the dunes. Over the years, you have learned to tune it out for the most part, which is good because even right now, in this very moment, it chatters constantly. When the spring crickets rend the night with their chirping, it does nothing to drown out the voice in your head.
Oof.
It's gotten clearer over time, too. As a little girl, all you could make out was a mumble. As a teenager, you started to hear words, sentences, distorted snippets of monologue. Its tone is even and neutral. It's curious, but certainly unfamiliar to you. Nowadays, if you focus on not blocking it out, you can hear every word. Mostly, it seems to narrate the things that you are experiencing or comment on them.
Oh, that would annoy her so much.
At times, it can be really quite infuriating. Now, as you part ways with your well-meaning godmother, the voice pipes up once more, because of course it does, and it says, she doesn't think you measure up.
Is there an off button with you? I know there isn't. You're just hoping one day I'll get a different answer.
She's afraid of what might happen when she's no longer around. But she has no reason to fear.
Is this what everyone's like inner monologue sounds like? What the fuck is? I need a fucking drink.
You also disagree with her. That is wise.
I think Keema also like trying to like she only does like this talk back to it if she knows like
Oh.
there's no one near. Otherwise she stays
sure.
quiet and is just constantly like rolling her eyes and
For sure. I feel like it's one of those things where, like, again, if you concentrate on it, you can sort of open up your brain to be able to hear it again. But in the same way that your eyes delete your nose in front of your face, this is such a constant thing that's going on in your head that you have learned to just sort of delete it and not pay attention to it most of the time.
Yeah.
The last thing it says before you kind of shut it off again, just automatically without even thinking about it, is, you have no reason to fear either. The power is already within you.
I assume this is some bullshit it said before? Or is that like something new it said?
It's something... It's not new. It's said stuff about the powers within you already, but it's always felt like this very, like positive affirmations, like, kind of, like, yes, sure, absolutely positive affirmations are objectively a good thing, but also sometimes the people who are like, live, laugh, love bitches, like, sometimes I feel like, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Keema is the type of person who would hear this and be like, yeah, okay, live, laugh, love, fuck you, bitch, shut up.
That's basically how Keema's reacting to it.
Yeah.
It's like, just fucking
kind of...
shut up, man.
So you hear that shit, you hear the power is already within you, which you've been hearing for years, and you're just like, shut up, then you just shut it off. It doesn't react when you shut it off, or when you block it out. It doesn't, like, retaliate or try to push through or anything like that. It's just kind of always very even, and just there.
Okay. This player sus. Keema doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. You're in town for a few days. Is there anything in particular? We don't have to get, like, super deep into it, because obviously this session 0 is a very narrative-focused kind of game, but is there anything in particular that you think Keema would get up to over the few days that you're here?
Since none of her friends are in town, she probably wouldn't, like, do anything like that. She would, drink a lot, to the point where the next day she'd probably only slightly regret it because of the headache. Like, the headache compounded with the voices makes it, like, kind of worse, and she's like, fuck. And then she'd honestly go fuck.
Sure,
Find some place to do that too.
There's some nice brothels. You know where all the good brothels are all over the place. For sure. No problem. And, like, I feel like, you know, we've established that, like, Kabihata and Sarab are, you know, good friends of Keema's. But I do feel like Keema probably has friends in all ports.
Yeah.
But maybe those two are, like, better, like, she's more well acquainted with those two in particular.
She's a little closer to them.
Yeah, so you've got people in town that you can go hang out with, you can go chill.
Yeah, she'd probably do
that.
And, like, come drink with me, let's go fuck together, and maybe together, maybe? If you don't want, it's also okay.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, with the kind of crowds that you run with, I'm sure that probably some of your friends are fairly promiscuous and wouldn't mind, like, hey, well, why not? Casual orgy, let's go. Like, why not?
Jesus.
It's a very sex-positive group.
Hell yeah.
A few days later, the new levitation stones have been installed in the Fang, the Zephyr, and the Scarab. It's sort of evening at this point. You are due to set back out the next day into the Carrion Expanse. You're headed to Sandmaw this time. And so you've prepped the ships, like, all of, you know, everything's ready to go. It's just gonna be one more night. It was one of those things where, like, it was just a little bit too late in the day to start going tonight. Just worth it to spend one more night in town. Also, Seer wasn't back. You don't care that Seer didn't come back in time to set out, but for some reason everybody else does. Right. Fuck her. Fuck that bitch. So I would say, where do you think that Keema would be on that last night?
I think Keema would actually use that last night, and I feel like this is kind of a very familiar routine for her if they are in town for, like, a little bit longer, where besides the drinking and the brothels, she'll take one of those days, and in this case it's this evening, to actually kind of practice a little bit, like her aim, a little bit of her swordsmanship, her footwork, but she'll do it in private.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, you find a nice little spot, so you can sort of hear the taverns in the distance, kind of carrying on as the night starts to deepen and people start getting deeper into their cups. and you take some time to practice some of the stuff. Um, it's there's a part of this that feels really good because it's like I'm practicing, I'm getting better. There's another part of it that kind of I would imagine, and again, please feel free to correct me. I would imagine feels a little weird because it's like this is what Naren wants, but is Naren right in the first place? Like, do I need this? Do I not need this? Whatever. And it doesn't help that you have this voice just kind of half reinforcing stuff and half not, and just like live, laugh, loving your ass. In the background, it's just like
Yeah, that's pretty
for a while.
accurate. She's just kind of conflicted about it. She's like, do I really need to be training like this? And is the captain right? Or is this just a bunch of bullshit? Fuck.
Give me an attack roll.
Ooh. That's a straight 15. With the crossbow, it would be a 20, a natural.
That's funny. You hit a bullseye.
I think that just immediately is just like, I'm fucking fine. I don't know what the fuck Naren is on about.
You, as you're kind of having this revelation and this frustrated revelation, you kind of you see some lights heading in from the desert into town, and you recognize it as a ship. It's a sand ship.
Probably Seer. Hoping she'd be lost. Ugh.
Sure enough, you watch in from a distance in the shadows as the Nemesis pulls up into berth near the other ship's ties off. You can see that they've come back successful. They have a few goats in hand that they have. You can tell that they're goats because you can see that they're carrying horns, but they have already butchered them because it's not really practical to, not butcher them before transporting them.
Yeah.
They've got a few of their pelts and things like that, and some meat they've packed away. Give me a quick perception check.
Ooh. He perceives this. Perception is +4. That's a 15 total.
15. It takes you a minute. You're kind of half paying attention because Keema doesn't give a fuck about what's going on with Seer. But I imagine there's probably also this sense of like, I hate that bitch, so I have to like see what the fuck she's doing so I can hate her even more kind of thing going on.
I need more reason to hate her.
Right. So you look back over every now and then, and it takes you like 3 or 4 times, but eventually you notice there's something weird about Seer, and you kind of squint, and you realize she's beat to shit. Like, black eye beat to shit.
I think Keema sees that and just gets this, like, gleeful, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking needle her. And kind of, like, will slide over and be like, run into some trouble out there?
Seer looks at you. You see the corner of her mouth where her hackle like twitch and raise, which you know is like a don't you fucking start it, like you're getting under her skin kind of
Mm-hmm.
kind
Oh
of
yeah.
thing.
Kima's like, uh-huh.
She just kind of deep exhale and goes about what she's doing, tries to ignore you in the way that you try to ignore her when she's doing the same shit to you.
What'd you run into? Was it a little puppy?
The manner in which she is setting things down and picking things up becomes more aggressive, but she's not responding to you. The other people in the crew are kind of looking at her and looking at you, and there's 1 or 2 of them that look like they're about to stand up for her, but she kind of gives them a look like, don't interfere.
I think Keema sees that. She's like, was it like not a puppy? What kicked your ass?
Turns around and looks at you. Fuck off.
I already did the other day. I'm really good now.
She like grabs there's like various like barrels and tables that they've that stuff's been set up on. This is like, it's weird because it's not like a dock because it's not water,
Yeah.
but it's sort of set up in a similar way. And so there's there's stalls and there's barrels and there's crates and stuff like that, and there's the walls of a couple of different buildings, like warehouses, right next to this port. And she like grabs one and knocks it over and looks at you and says, "Fuck off if you know what's good for you."
I've been told I don't know, so I don't think I will. What the fuck kicked your ass, dude? Because you look like shit.
I need you to roll initiative.
Keema just loves needling. She knows it turns into a fight, but she still loves needling her.
For sure, for sure.
12.
12, okay. 14.
Oh.
Seer goes first. She rages. She is going to just straight up, like, try to, like, throw a punch at you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That is a... Fuck. 14 to hit.
That just reaches my AC, damn.
Okay. So you are going to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as she just punches you in the face.
Oh! Fuck!
It's your turn.
She only used her fist, she didn't,
Yeah.
no weapons? Okay, then
Yeah.
Keema will keep also to fists, even though she is much weaker with her fists. And she'll try to punch back.
Go for it.
Oh no. That's a 10 to hit?
10 does not hit. Her AC is 13. You go to hit her, and you hit her because she's built like a brick shit house. Of course you're gonna hit her.
Mm-hmm.
But your fist lands on part of her armor. And so fuck. It just kinda hurts.
Fuck.
But you don't do any kind of visible damage to her. Is at the end of your turn.
Yeah, because the only bonus action I would have is if I use my crossbow.
Sure.
Which I don't want to pull actual weapons yet, unless she does.
Right. She is going to reckless attack. $21 to hit.
Yes.
She goes to punch you again, and it's going to deal another 4 points of damage to you.
Oh my god.
How are you doing?
I'm at 5 hit points.
You have 5 hit points left? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Keema's not one to back down, though, so she's kind of like got her bell rung, and she's like, whoa! Tries to go again.
Go at her again. Go for it. I would say at this point, Seer has kind of just like backed you, not in into a corner, but like against a wall. So it's like there's a wall from the top down view. There's a wall. There's you. There's Seer, and then there's a ring of shields kind of around you, egging you on like fight.
That is also fueling Keema's desire of like, I'm fucking backing down.
You ready to go? Let's get it, bitch.
Well, I rolled a 2.
A 2. Okay.
I know that won't hit.
That is okay. Part of this, to be fair to you, is also intended to be mildly cinematic. Yeah. I figured you probably guessed that.
Yes.
You go to throw a punch again. She grabs your wrist, and throws you back against the wall. I'm going to basically make that be her unarmed strike to throw you.
Mm-hmm.
She's reckless attacking. That's another 21 to hit. So here's what happens. Since she will basically be doing another 4 points of damage, she would be down to 1 hit point.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. She grabs your wrist as you go to throw the second punch at her, throws you against the wall. You hit the wall, crack your skull against this thing. And the next thing you know, her big meaty hands are around your throat and squeezing.
Immediately like clawing.
She presses you against the wall with your, from your throat. Has her snout like an inch away from your face and is snarling at you. And she says, in like the most malicious voice that you have ever heard come from her, I am sick of you. I am sick of you reducing my mother to a nursemaid. I am sick of having to stand aside and watch you and your stupid mother. She slams the back of your head into the wall twice to accentuate her words. Run this fleet into the fucking ground. And when you are gone, I will celebrate. The voice in the back of your head grows louder, maybe because of this headache from getting hit twice. And you hear the voice say, in its normal, calm, even tone, perhaps this time you will hear me. Perhaps this time you will reach out and seize it. We're in bullet time. What do you do?
I don't know if Keema would be able to get out the words, but like mentally in like response to the voice, she's like, "Seize what?"
You feel like it's almost like a hand is like beckoning to guide you.
I think Keema takes it like, I'm not fucking dying here.
Okay. You take this hand that is offered to you, and you concentrate inward. The hand is it's not like a physical hand. It's just like it's this sensation. It leads you through the endless void that has been boring through your heart your whole life, at least since you were 6. And it gestures deep, deep into the darkness. You've had to look at this hole your entire life because it's just been there. You can't not acknowledge it, but I imagine, sort of avoided looking particularly deep in there.
Yeah.
It takes you to the edge, and it gestures in.
Fuck it. She... I guess...
You go in?
Yeah, she'll go in.
As you sort of concentrate further into this space, you can see the tiniest flicker of a blue flame, like the ember of a dying candle.
I think Keema would instinctually try to, like, reach out and, like, that thing where you do where if, like, a wind's blowing to, like, prevent a flame from going out. So, like, she doesn't, like, try to put it out, but, like, kind of cup her hand around it.
You cup your hand around it. You see in your mind's eye the fire start to react and grow. It almost reaches out and takes your hand like a long-lost friend and begins crawling up your arm, and it doesn't hurt. At first, it's just warm. Then it starts to sting. And for a split second, your body's fight or flight response kicks in as a reaction to the pain, and it takes you a minute to realize that what you're feeling isn't really pain, per se. In a way, it actually kind of feels good. You are burning from the inside out, but it's burning with exhilaration, like your legs and your lungs after a morning run. It sears with the feeling of a top-shelf whiskey running down your throat and filling your belly with heat. It smolders like self-righteousness and rage and joy. And that feeling doesn't snuff out or fade away. But after a few moments, you feel your body adjust to that sensation, like the shock of stepping into a pool of water ebbing away the longer that you remain submerged. There's a comforting, enveloping pressure all around you, a feeling of destiny at your fingertips. And you are back to being choked out by Seer against this wall.
Jesus, whiplash.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like it would be a little bit of whiplash. This is all happening in bullet time, and you've just been in this like meditative space for a quarter of a second, and now you're back here again. You can feel this tingling on your fingertips that are gripping onto her wrists.
Oh, gosh. I guess she tries to, like, pull on it, or, like, I'm not sure if the feeling would be, like, to pull or push out towards Seer. I guess maybe to push out, like, to use that as, like, a get off me.
Okay, yeah. You take this feeling, you channel it, and you push. And you watch your hands burst into a crackling blue flame. And doesn't hurt you, but it hurts the fuck out of Seer. She immediately lets go of you, yelps, and takes a step back, and you can breathe again. Your hands are still burning. To touch your chest, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't seem to be burning away your clothes.
I think he was just shocked at the moment, like kind of like, fuck?
Seer's kind of staring at you as well. Everybody's staring at you like, what the fuck? This is not something you've ever done before. This is new. And you watch as in this moment of shock, this all takes like 2 seconds, all of this that happens here. But it's long enough to make an impression on everybody else and on you. And the fire ebbs away and is gone.
I think she's gonna look at that, look up at Seer, like, and just kind of be just really like startled and like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, dude.
Seer also kind of looks very startled, like almost afraid of you. Like, what the fuck is that? And she says, I think, what the fuck was that?
Fuck if I know.
Oh, fuck. Like, seems to suddenly remember that her wrists have been burned.
I think Keema would like try to like flame on like Human Torch, like.
It's like, you can't quite get it. You can't quite get it.
Fuck.
But Seer looks at you. She kind of looks at you, and you can see the wheels in her head turning, and she's calculating whether or not she should go for you again in this moment. But then she sort of sees that everybody else is staring, and the party has died down a little bit. And so she makes a calculated decision and points at you and says, "This isn't over," and stomps away and like viciously knocks over a table and like sends it flying on her way through, like pushes someone out of her way. And the crowd kind of just awkwardly dispersed.
I think Keema like still is just like, when the fuck is it ever over with you?
It is incomplete, says the voice. It cannot be completed here. You stand on a precipice. You should not fear to fall. You must take the leap before you can hope to fly.
Where do you get this shit? Like, what book are you reading?
For the first time in a long time, it's not silent, but there's this like, it's more like almost humming. It's not even like a tune really that you're hearing. It's just sort of like you can feel the presence of this voice that's always been there the whole time, but there's no words that are happening.
Does the hum sound familiar?
Roll me a wisdom check.
Okay. Wisdom check. That is a 15 total.
15.
And then let me just go get my food real quick.
Yeah, dude, you are good. This pause is not sponsored by D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond, where you can get shitty character sheets and where you can buy individual bullshit for what ends up being more than the cost of just buying the book. Where also you have to buy the book separately, even if you already have bought it physically in person. And just generally is not a great service. But at least it's better than Roll20. And that's my commercial for Tarask, which is infinitely better.
What?
Hello, I was giving a commercial. You were gone.
I can't wait to listen back to this and hear that.
With a 15. There was a wisdom check to see if you remembered
The humming. If it
the
sounded
humming, right.
familiar or anything.
I remembered the roll that you made, but I couldn't remember for a second why you made the roll. There is something about it that sounds familiar. And again, it's not like a tune necessarily, but there's something about it that feels very, very familiar in a way that you can't quite put your finger on. And of particular note, that hole is still there. But it almost feels like there's a band-aid over it now. Like it's there, and if you peel back the band-aid, it's still just as heavy as it was. But there's almost like scaffolding or something patching it.
I think Keema is torn between wanting to find Naren and just going the fuck to sleep.
Sure, yeah.
She's like, it can wait a day. Fuck it.
Your throat hurts. It's been squeezed.
Yeah.
You go off to sleep. The following morning, before Nyama's teeth sets off, are you bringing anything to Naren?
I think Keema would before they set off, and she would do it when Seer is not around. Like, she tried to make sure either Seer's out of earshot or on a completely different boat, but she'd be like,
sure,
that bitch is far away before I talk to Ma.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, you can very easily, there is enough, you prepped the boats the day before, but there is still some work that has to be done first thing in the morning to, finish getting everything ready that you can't do the night before. So there's a lot of that work going on. Seer is very busy with the Nemesis because, obviously, she hasn't been in port this whole time, so she hasn't had the opportunity to do some of the stuff that has to be done for the ship to prepare it. So, so she's off doing that and is quite preoccupied. So she's not within the earshot. She's within sight of you, but she's concentrating on something. There's very little chance she's going to be paying attention to what's going on.
Okay. I think Keema would kind of I imagine her movement around the boats is very not slinky, but it's very slidey. She just kind of
sure.
will slide up to people and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Sure. Yeah.
And that's
makes sense.
Similar vibe with Naren.
Mm-hmm.
If she's feeling particularly not annoyed with the captain, then she'll be a little more professional about it. But otherwise, she's like,
sure.
"What's up?" I think though in this case, she's not
Wait. What?
Gosh, what's the term I'm looking for? She's not shrinking Violet walking up to Naren, but she's definitely, I think Naren would probably know her well enough to kind of tell that something's bugging Keema, and it's not the normal things that bug Keema. It's something else.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I agree. I think that she knows you very well at this point. I mean, you're her daughter at this point. Um, and honestly, you kind of always were. Like, she has always treated you like that.
Ye-
Um, she kind of glances over at you, does a double take. What's wrong? What happened to your throat?
Uh, 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 Seer, the other day, but that Ma, I really need to talk with you.
She, it's funny. You can kind of see like the split second before you say "seer," she knows what you're gonna say, and like does like leans back and looks at you like, "Don't fucking." Of course it is. And then you say the next bit, and you're serious for once. And it's not that you're never serious, but like, she knows this. She knows you well enough to know that if you are talking like this in this kind of tone, you are not fucking around. Kind of looks at you, right?
Um, and also just clarification question with you, Krista. I can't remember if we talked about it. I assumed, or was under the assumption that Keema has mentioned the whole um, voices thing, at least to Naren before.
Sure. Yeah, that's absolutely we can. That's
Okay.
totally fine. Yeah.
Just because I think as a kid it'd kind of be also concerning of like,
Yeah.
why can't I hear this?
What's going on? People just keep talking all night long, and it's making it so I can't fall asleep. And there's just like literally no one is talking.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Just so it's not like something out of the blue that like
Sure. Yeah.
she's never heard before. But I
Yeah.
think Keema would be like, it's uh, you know, the yeah.
Right. Do you want to talk about this somewhere a little bit more private?
Yeah.
She kind of glances around because there's people around. They're not like paying attention specifically, but they're milling around in the area.
Yeah, and Keema would just like nod and be like, yeah, we need to go someplace
Okay.
else.
She kind of puts a hand on your like between your shoulder blades and doesn't push you, just kind of walks along with you, a ways away from the fleet. Um, you're kind of out in this sort of you're out beyond the wall. Dryskar has a wall around it, like every fucking city does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're out beyond the wall, in this sort of you're not in like a sandy desert. You're like in an Arizona, California desert where it's like
Ooh.
there's still shrubs and stuff like that around. Basically everywhere on the map of Rethem that you see that's like a dark orange,
Mm-hmm.
that's all xeric shrubland. That's all like Arizona cacti, shrub bushes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um,
Good to
and
know.
then anywhere that's like the yellow color is like actual straight up sand dunes.
Got it. Okay.
So there's rocky outcroppings. There's cacti. There's shrub bushes around it. You kind of pull off to in this little copse of saguaros, um, and she turns and looks at you across her arms. Okay, what's going on?
The the you know how I can kind of hear it a little more
Right.
clear now.
Uh-huh. You've been telling me.
Okay. Well, the other day when Sierra, for no reason at all, went after me, uh, I was kind of in a pickle, and voice was a bit clearer, and suddenly there was fire.
Give me an insight check. Also, it's worth mentioning that when you're like, Seer came at me for no reason, there's this moment of like an eyebrow twitches, so she's like, yeah, okay.
I figured. You said insight?
Yes.
Kima's rolling fucking good right now. It's a
Okay.
17 plus. Where's my insight? Plus 2, so 19.
She schools her face very, very well. But you have known this woman for long enough that you can see the flicker of that same expression that was on her face all those years ago. That concern, that worry, that anxiety, that recognition. Just a flicker across her face for a split second. I see.
Yeah. So, would you like to share?
Share what? I don't know anything about that.
Ma, come on. What the fuck you mean you don't know anything about? My arms were on fire.
What do you want me to say? I don't know anything about magic. If you want to talk to somebody about fire magic, we can find someone in Sandlot. Or even here before we leave.
Ma, my arms were on fire.
But did you die though?
No, I did not die, but like when I was little?
What happened when you were little was very unfortunate. And I'm sorry that if whatever happened to you last night brought any of that unpleasantness back.
No, no, don't pull that bullshit with me again.
Well, what do you want me to say, Keema? What do you want me to tell you?
What the fuck happened?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
What do you mean? What do I mean? I don't know. I've told you everything that I know. You want me to repeat it again? Because I'll tell you the story again if you really want to hear it for the millionth time.
Yeah, sure. Do your little ramble again. Maybe add something new this time. Something like a little bit of the truth? Because I think you saw a bit more than you're actually sharing.
Don't talk to me like that. I am trying to help you. I'm trying to do right by you. Okay?
Then tell me what the fuck happened. Why are my arms suddenly...
I don't know why your arms are suddenly on fire.
Can I...
With what you rolled before insight,
Mm-hmm.
I would say there is enough precedence there. She is absolutely. You don't think that she's lying to you fully, but she is definitely trying to deflect. She's like, deflect missiles up in this bitch. Yeah.
I think that's just pissing off Keema. Every time she's like, I don't know, he's like, bullshit. I saw that look on your
Keema,
face. It's
what
the
look at
same
my
look.
face? What look? What look?
The look like you fucking concerned. The
Keema,
look like you're scared.
look. If you want me to tell you again, I'll tell you. Your mother got something into her head that she shouldn't have gotten into her head in the first place. It was a dangerous decision that she made. You got hurt because of it, and she died as a result. What do you want me to tell you?
What the fuck was that decision? Would be great. Does it have anything to
She
do with
was.
this?
I have told you that it was that I don't know the details of it. All I know is that she was trying to do some kind of ritual. She tried, and it didn't go over well, and you almost died as a result. And she did die. If I hadn't shown up when I did, you would have burned to death. And this is not news. We've had this discussion a million times.
I know you're holding shit back, though. You're not being really. You're not hiding it very well.
So what if I'm holding something back for you? So what if I am? Maybe, did it ever occur to you that the reason that I might be holding something back from you is because I'm trying to protect you?
So I don't know that's protecting me?
Well, now you do. Now you do. So, maybe I haven't told you everything. And I'm not going to.
What? How does that make any sense in your head?
Keema, your mother was very dear to me. You know that she and I were sisters in a way that I wish that you and Seer would be. And I'm not here to harp on that because I know I know. And I'm not.
Yeah, that's. I think that ship has sailed long ago.
It's beside the point. I cared about your mother very deeply. She was my sister. And you know that I don't say that lightly about someone who is not a knoll.
I know.
But she got an idea into her head, and it was so pervasive and so dangerous that I couldn't get it out of her head. And I don't want that idea in your head either. Because I know you, Keema, and I know that once you have set your mind to something, there is no talking you out of it. So I'm not going to tell you because I know that I wouldn't be able to talk you out of it if you found out. Because in the end, as much as I have tried to help you, to guide you, to prepare you for the things in this world, as much as I have tried to raise you as my daughter as best I can, you are your mother's daughter.
So you're not going to explain anything. You're just going to keep letting my arms randomly catch on fire.
As long as they are not hurting you, she looks at your arms. There are no scars. There's nothing there that indicates. Then no. And I know that that is not what you want to hear. And I am genuinely sorry about that. But I am not willing to risk your well-being putting ideas in your head that you will chase to fruition.
There's already something else up there that's yabbering the whole time and now fucking humming, which is going to be annoying as shit. But fine, yeah, no. Anything you say would be horrible and would just fucking kill me immediately or something. Of whatever your concern is.
There is something. Roll me another insight check.
Jesus, Keema, I swear, I would take a picture. That's a
I believe you.
19.
Listen, listen. This is a solo session. Good rolls always happen like this during solo sessions.
Gaz had shit rolls in her solo session.
No, that's the thing, is that it's not necessarily good rolls, it's the rolls that need to happen narratively.
True.
That's what it is.
True. Jesus, that's a 21.
21. You said something like, if you're afraid, this is just going to kill me instantly.
Yeah.
And you see another flicker across her face. And it's a flicker of, with a 21, it's not a flicker of fear necessarily. There is fear as a component of it. But if you had to put like an emoji to it, or like a movement, like a more, if she were to express this emotion fully with her whole body, it would be a like a kind of thing.
Like an eh
Like
or
a
like a wince?
like a like a it's not quite right.
Okay.
That's what you get. It's so fast and so subtle in the middle of all of this. You just managed to catch it. And you have no fucking idea what it means.
Fuck.
Thank you for telling me about what's going on. I'm sorry that this is not the result of the conversation that you wanted. I love you. She does not say that to you often. If she's saying that, she means it. I want you to be safe. And I am... If keeping you safe means that you have to be disappointed in me, or even angry with me, then so be it. Because I would rather you be safe and happy in general than up to something terrible and pleased with me.
Yeah. Alright, Captain. Sure. Alright, well, that was it. I didn't have anything else to share.
Is your throat okay?
I'm talking.
Do you want me to go beat her ass? Because I will. You know I
No,
will.
I'll do it later. Don't worry.
Go finish setting up the Zephyr. We're leaving in half an hour.
Yeah. She'll walk off.
You got enough. Disappointed. Pissed.
Mm-hmm.
You leave her behind. She just kind of stands out there for a minute, and you just kind of hear. You don't turn back to look at her, but you hear her take a deep breath and a long exhale before she follows you.
I love
Um,
her.
love her too.
It kills me so much that I didn't have her say I love you back, but she'd be too pissed to say that.
No, it's totally fair. Um, about half an hour, 45 minutes later, Nyama's teeth sets off, as usual, with you commanding the Zephyr. What was supposed to be a clear day rapidly begins to turn for the worse. The wind kicks up behind you. A blessing and a curse. You may be moving faster with the wind in your sails, but the speed is making it more difficult to maintain your course. And the gale is starting to kick up sand. Before you know it, it comes as fast as this exposition. You are racing in front of a haboob. There's a sandstorm right behind you. You are in your element, though. This is not the first sandstorm that you've weathered, and it probably won't be the last either. Your hair's whipping in the breeze. You're calling the shots. You know, it's difficult, but it's not. It's still within your grasp for the moment.
And it's like something I can like keep, like my mind is now occupied with this, and it's like
Yeah,
great. I needed to
yeah,
keep. I need to think about something else. Perfect.
yeah. You can see the Fang ahead of you kind of swirl like fishtails for a second before it manages to get back on track. You can see that Seer, the Nemesis, is coasting along, and the Viper and the Scarab are kind of swerving out. You started off in sort of this flying V formation that you normally take, and now it's just kind of become this bundle as you all try to stick together to weather the storm. And the the Haboob starts out behind you and rapidly moves in and just like hurls in on you, like a blanket being thrown over top of someone.
Okay.
Um, it catches up to you in record time, and before you know it, sand is blinding you, and the wind is deafening your crew to your instructions. I need you to first roll me a persuasion check. This is to see if you are able to shout out coherently enough over the wind to be able to give your crew instructions.
Oof. Well, that was a 6 persuasion.
6 persuasion. I now need you. So you call out an order. You're looking through. Visibility is shit. You can't see fuck all in the sand. I imagine that Keema probably has goggles. Like everybody in the fleet probably has goggles that they can
Yeah,
pull
she's
on
got
in
the
a moment.
goggles and like a bandana, so she tries to pull that up, which doesn't help with her then trying to shout orders.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just a little bit muffled. The wind's whipping, it's awful, it's howling, everything. You start to notice that there's something in the distance. You can't really tell what it is. And you shout out an order to go around it, to spike the rocks, to cut the line, to anything. And that you can tell immediately that your crew did not understand what you said because they all turn to look at you like for clarification.
Oh.
And it's not enough time. You're going at it too fast because the wind is pushing you through the storm. I need you to now make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh. Fucking actually, that's pretty good, surprisingly.
Okay.
As a total of 24.
A 24. Okay. You are able to instinctively reach out and grab a like a more sturdy portion of the ship before you hit whatever it is. Um this is all happening in bullet time. You hit the rock. I need you to now make me a strength saving throw.
Strength savings +4. I don't think that's gonna help that. The 9 total.
9 total. Okay. With a 9 total, the dice tell the story that they're supposed to tell. Um, you grab onto this thing just in time. What happens though is that as you hit this whatever it hits with such an impact that you aren't able to hold on and your grip slips. In retrospect, you aren't sure exactly what you hit. It could have been a boulder, it could have been a cactus, it could have been an animal, you don't know. Whatever it was, it causes the Zephyr to jolt and jerk violently, and for a second, you are weightless. In the back of your mind, the voice's narration amplifies for just a moment, and you hear it say in a tone more animated and elated than you have ever heard before, "Yes, fly, fly!" And you fly. Uh, Straight off the Zephyr until you into the wind-torn desert below. Your body reels for a second at the sudden stop, and you instinctively draw in a deep breath to replace the air that's been knocked out of your lungs. And the breath is replaced with dirt and sand because your bandana has come out. You pull it back up.
Ugh.
You regather your senses. You pull yourself back up off your feet, and you start looking around. You can see that far in front of your face.
Uh-oh.
What do you do?
Oh no. I think Kima's first thought is if it shook her off that hard, then she's concerned that it damaged the ship enough that like it's stuck.
Sure.
And like whereas everyone else, so I think she's going to try, kind of trying to like feel like okay, if I fell that way, and she's gonna
Okay.
goggles thing and just try to move forward and see if she runs into the ship or anyone else.
You hoof it through the wind. You kind of like hurl your head and your back into it. You push through sideways into the wind, in the direction of where you're pretty sure the crash happened. And you walk 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 and you walk. You should have been there by now. You don't even see the rock that you hit. You don't
Fuck.
see any shards of ship or levitation stone, and them bitches crack real easy. You don't see anyone. You think you can hear shouting in the distance.
I think she tried to go towards the shouting, and as she's doing it, she's trying. I think she like half a part of her knows it's probably useless, but she still is like
Mhm.
gonna try to yell out like, "Hey, I'm over
Okay,
here!"
you start shouting out. You call out. You can hear the shouting in the distance. It just seems to keep eluding you, and as you walk closer in the directions you're hearing it, it starts to come from a different direction as well, and so you start moving off in that direction, and then it comes from somewhere else, and you start to realize, am I actually hearing shouting, or is this a trick of the wind that I'm hearing? And you can't tell. It is fucking chaos in this storm. The wind is whipping at you. It's pulling your hair out of its ringlets. It's picking up rocks and dirt and uh, scraping them raw against your skin.
Hmm. Okay. This is where I don't know Sandstorm's safety, but I feel like Keema would.
Sure.
So I'm gonna probably bullshit this a bit.
That's
This
fine.
probably isn't the right thing to do in this situation, but I'm gonna
It's
assume like
accurate
she would know.
sandstorm safety for the Handren Empire. This is what it is.
I think part of her skirt, like the Hero Forge, is like half of it's leather, and that's partly
Mhm.
like as like a pseudo shield.
Sure.
So I think she was then like kind of realizing she's not getting anywhere near anything. Um, Try to find as much of like some sort of like breakage in the wind that she can kind of like maybe notice or feel physically, and try to hunker
Hmm.
down by it, and then pull up that half of the skirt as like a shield, and just kind of like hunker down there for a bit to try to get like clear air and just
Hmm.
wait out the storm then at that point.
Okay. Yeah, you find a boulder nearby. You don't even know if it was the one that you hit. There's no debris around it or anything. At least not that the wind hasn't picked up already and flown to Kingdom Come. But you find something that's big enough for you to kind of hunker down behind. You get on the far side of it, away from where the wind is actively bashing. You pull up this shield over your body and you wait it out. Um, and you wait it out, wait it out, and you wait it out. And hours later, it finally stops.
Oh, she'll kind of dust off all the sand and look around like, is there any debris? Is there like any sign of like maybe other people who also had to hunker down near her?
Give me a survival check.
Oh, that was a nat one.
I'm telling you, the dice tell the story.
They do.
Because listen,
Jesus.
I didn't write this event. You wrote this event. We both knew this was going to happen,
I
and then the
know.
dice did it for us.
Jesus.
You search until sundown. You can't find head or tail or stone or sail of anyone. It's like they fucking vanished. And the voice in the back of your head is absolutely silent.
I think that's probably like even creepier or like eerie for Keema is that,
Mhm.
yeah, really weird that they're missing, but just that the voice is quiet. It's like, hello?
That's not normal. You call it hello. Nothing. Nothing responds. You are alone, inside and out, in the middle of the desert.
Oh, that doesn't. That's like if Keema like was like had hair, like her hackles would be up. Like, oh, I don't like that.
The
Yeah, no.
the good news is that you didn't get super far from Dryspar before the sandstorm hit. So it's not, it's a decent walk back. It takes you like the better part of a full day to get back. Um but you're able to without too much trouble, which is good because it's not like you have water or food on you.
Mm-hmm.
But this is your territory, thankfully, and you are a ranger, so it's not even something I'm going to make you roll for. You know where you're going. You know, like, orientation skills. You do eventually make it back to Dryscar. And then a year passes. It's been a year since that fateful day, since that sandstorm. You have spent the last 13 months searching for any sign of Niama's teeth and have come up dry at every turn. You have traveled to all the normal spots, asked all the normal people. It seems as though they never showed up in Sandmaw, which was, of course, the berth that they were going to next, or to their subsequent port of call in Scorch Run. They haven't been seen in Crossroad or Bellwatch or even back in Dryscar. You have searched every hamlet and every farming community. You have even tried asking Black Lion, the Ossian Snare, and the Sidewinders for any news. And they're either lying to you, being deliberately obtuse, or worst of all, they also haven't seen heads or tail of Niam's teeth in the past year. It's like they just fucking vanished. You feel a hand caress your forehead, pushing a curly lock of hair out of your face. Keema. Someone is calling you out of your hungover haze of sleep. Keema. Wake up, darling.
Hmm. What?
You awaken in a bed at a brothel called The Finish Line.
Beautiful.
This is Kabi's establishment. Her full name is Kabihata, but a lot of Dragonborn will go by nicknames because they recognize that their names are really long. And so you would know her as Kabi. You are sandwiched between two escorts. Jabrian is stroking your hair. Jabrian is a beautiful human woman with an with a, with an Emendari like leg that goes like she lost her leg all the way up to her hip.
Oh, whoa.
And so that whole thing is an Emendari, but the reason that I'm chuckling is that because it goes all the way up to her hip, she does have an optional attachment that she will occasionally use. Um
Of
I
course.
rolled I rolled randomly for an Emendari and was like, yeah, okay, why not?
Oh my
That's it.
god.
Behind you, Sierra is a half elf. He is spooning you from behind. He's also awake. And Jai smiles at you charmingly.
I think Kima's like still like kind of coming over from the hangover, so she is not as charming as she
Mhm.
normally would be. She's like, "Hey."
Hey, are you feeling okay? You had a lot last night.
No, you got one of those hangover the what fuck what's it called? The juice, the thing.
You hear Sierra behind you, hair of the dog. I'll be right back. And he pulls out from behind you, and the warmth goes away.
Oh, then she
Um,
like kind of like no.
and Jai kind of doesn't like come behind you to take his place, but lies down and continues like stroking your hair, and they're very, very good. Like you've been with these people before, they're great.
She fucking
Um,
loves it. She's like, yeah, it's good, it's nice.
um, and Sarah goes and leaves the room for a minute to go. Actually, doesn't even have to leave the room. They would just have this in the room, I think. Get you some stuff ready to go so that you can feel better. And Jai says, I need to tell you that the time you paid for has been up for over an hour, but you look just so peaceful sleeping that neither of us wanted to disturb you. But Abby is looking for you, so I'm very sorry that I had to wake you up.
Uh, that's fine. Thank you. Fucking needed the sleep.
You are quite welcome. And she gives you like a kiss. Like, she's very, very good at demonstrations.
Yeah,
Like,
he was just like smiling, just like
mm.
this is nice. This is nice.
I was like, what's Keema's sexuality? Bi? Cool. Threesome. Let's do it.
Fuck! I sent Tom that screenshot, by the way.
Just
Of like, she's got to carry on the tradition.
for sure, for sure. I feel like I feel weird. Like I don't feel weird talking about it in general, but I feel weird specifically with regard to Azana because Azana is 16, but also
Yeah,
and so like I don't want to sexualize her because she's 16 years old.
yeah.
But also I do feel like when she gets older, she was also going to become very promiscuous too.
It just runs in the family. Which, by the way,
It
anyone who's
does.
listening back to this at this point, hopefully you already know that fact.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Oops, sorry.
It's fine. I'm sure. Honestly, by the time anyone listens to this, that's not you and me. That's probably going to be known, or at the very least, I'm going to make a joke
No.
about it.
You are also welcome to I totally forgot about that aspect. If you want to cut it out, please feel free, and
Oh.
then we can just like let people wonder what the context is.
I don't know if
Um
anyone's gonna pick up on it, honestly, because I don't know how many people actually remember Cheval's dad's name.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
So
We'll
I don't
see.
know how many people are actually gonna pick up on it. So it'll be funny if they only
Yeah.
find out through this.
Yeah. I feel like it's also it's funny too because like it doesn't really have like a major bearing on stuff. So uh leave it 100% up to you. If you end up deciding you do want to like edit it out, I won't be offended. It's totally fine.
No, I think it'd be really funny. I'm absolutely gonna make allusions to it in the game, just like if anyone asks, like, "Oh, are you Keema?" and then like the full name, and she's like, and like, "Oh, you like, I know your father." Like, what? Fucking, does he owe you money? Because I don't have shit.
Oh my god. Um Sierra brings you your hair of the dog and you sip on it for a little bit and they, help you get dressed and they're all very like the part of the reason you love these people is because they're so good. They're like continuing to be very handsy even though they're not being paid for anything right now. Like they like you genuinely, you're pretty sure. Which is why they're like you get away with being an hour over time.
Keema is
Um
absolutely also like really sweet with them, like, cause
mhm.
she likes it there. She's like, it's one of her favorite brothels, so she's just like,
Yeah,
guys are really nice, and she absolutely gives like a little extra tip when she can, just like,
that's part of the reason they like you.
yeah.
Oh my god. Eventually you leave the room, they get you dressed, and you head on downstairs. You have never really trusted most Dragonborn. The three members of Nyama's Teeth, Asimur's, I pronounced this earlier today, but now I can't, Nyargaths and, Nurpamali
Oh God, you're so much
are
better at that than I
exceptions.
am ever going to be.
It's okay. I did this to myself and everyone else. All three of them are exceptions, as is Kabi. It probably has something to do with the fact that none of them are particularly devout followers of the Church of the Triad. Naren has always warned you away from the Platinum Brotherhood, and really from anyone who even looked remotely like members of the priesthood. And you've never really given a fuck about their shitty opinions, enough to find out like why they have shitty opinions. But
Mm.
sometimes when you do cross paths with religious nuts, specifically of the triad variety, you could swear that they kind of look at you funny. But who gives a fuck about them? Their shitty opinions. You never, whatever. Fuck you. I'm not gonna find out
They
why.
wear
I don't
fucking
care.
the worst clothing. They got like the worst opinions. Like, fuck them. Who
Yeah.
cares how they
Okay.
look at me?
You're also just very high and mighty about everything. Like you're human.
Like,
And so they have this like just condescending attitude of like we are the protectors of humanity and it's like we don't need protecting, leave us alone, and they're like no, we're here to do it out of the kindness of our hearts, and just overbearing, and they're just kind of fucking annoying like
Q would be just like that time. Like, if like I imagine like the I hate to say it, and Mormon's like knocking on the door. She answers the door with the crossbow, like, leave,
go away.
go away.
Yeah, that's kind of what it ends up being like. um Thankfully Kabi is not one of those. Kabi is a uh, not like a cleric or anything, but she does, like most brothel owners or prostitutes and things like that, does have a vague like vague spiritual connection to the font heart. um
Blood hurt my blood.
I thought that might snipe you.
Yeah. I'm still here, Fontheart. I swear.
Like, oh.
I'm using one of your brothels. Aren't you proud of me?
Do you want to know? Do you want to know a not so fun fact?
Oh no.
Not to pull you out of it too much, but
Oh no.
technically everything that's happening right now is like a week or two before Nicholas.
My
So
boy. that's why
One
that's why that happened. She was too busy watching Keema have a really good time. She was like, that
thing. Like,
one's really getting
shit.
into it.
Oh, oh, fuck.
Oh
You come downstairs, you wander your way, and you see Copy. She is standing in there's a so like there's the back areas and the higher floors of this establishment are the various rooms that the escorts work out of, but the bottom floor and like the reception area is a hookah bar.
no. Ooh.
um and she's um standing in the hookah bar. She's talking to, it's not like busy because it's like 10 in the morning right now, but there's always someone that's in and around,
Hmm.
and she's kind of chatting, quietly to one of her employees, and sees you come down and says, "Good morning, Keema," and comes over to give you a hug.
Morning, Cobby.
He gives you a big ol' hug, pats you on the back. She's very motherly in that way.
I love her.
She's great. She looks at you and says, wait, that's the thing. Hang on. Oh yeah, sorry. Um, I'm getting all confused in my notes. I understand what's
Ouchie.
going on now. She says, "I'm sorry to have bothered you. You know that neither I nor Sarah nor Jai would have minded if you stuck around a little longer than you technically paid for. Anything for such a conscientious and regular customer." And she kind of like gives you a pinch on the cheek. Um, but you asked me to let you know when Sarah was here, and he's been waiting outside for about half an hour now. So I thought I'd
Oh,
been waiting for too much longer.
oh shit, yeah. Let me. Oh wait, but first, hold on. And she pulls out her bag, which her coin bag is definitely getting like lighter and lighter as time goes on.
Sure.
So
Uh-huh.
she kind of pauses because she feels it like light. She's like,
Uh-oh.
fuck. And she's like, okay. And she like hands over the amount she's supposed to, and then she's kind of adds on. She's like, the I don't have as much for tip, but I will eventually. Just it's enough for the evening.
It is completely fine. You don't have to worry. Thank you for your patronage, as always. It is always so lovely to see you. And I don't just say that because you're a very good customer, although that is an aspect. Um, I I hope that you know that I genuinely care about you as a friend.
I know. I know. You've always been good.
I try my best. You better get going before Sarah gets starts to get uppity.
I just
Um,
don't know why you didn't just fucking come in here and
well,
enjoy a puff. Ugh, whatever.
this is a conversation that I think that you have had with Sarah before. What it boils down to, and you and Keema would know this, but I also think that it would be completely in character for Keema to still be like, "What does it fucking matter?"
Yeah.
Sarah is married with children.
Yeah.
Um, and his wife, he loves her and she loves him, but she has some friends that are gossips. Um, and she can be very like, I don't even want to say vindictive. She's just a very spirited woman, shall we say. And so he is constantly like, I don't want to go in there because I don't want her friend's friend to find out and then tell her before I can explain to her what's going on. So he does not step foot in there.
And
Just in
Kiva would
case.
always be just like, but dude, I can get, you know, Cobby. She can get us a private room. It'd be fine.
The
No one would
last thing I need
see.
is a private room in the finish line with Kabi.
No one would see, and I know you're just doing some hookah. You don't gotta actually, fuck around.
I'll take I you know, as always, Keema, I appreciate the offer. This is like the first time like you walk out the door and
Yeah,
immediately you're into this conversation.
yeah.
Um
Not even a hello, just a why didn't you come in? Enjoy
yeah,
a little.
just immediate that.
Yeah.
Look, one of these days,
Mhm.
Rima is going to find out from a friend of a friend of a friend that
Mhm.
I was here, and then I'm going to come home and hear all about it too. So I would rather not take my chances.
She can come
I'm
too.
gonna come
I don't know
inside.
why she doesn't just come
You
too.
know, it's not her style. You know, it's really just not.
I mean, she
And
doesn't
I,
know for
and I
sure until she tries it.
why don't you have that conversation with her? I'm good. I'm good.
Would you like me to? I can.
No, I would not like you to have that conversation with my wife. No. Are you
Killjoy.
ready to have brunch or not?
Yes, I would like
All
some
right, come on.
food.
I'm Bonnie. Come on.
Ah, yes.
Serb, of course, is the man responsible for conducting repairs to the fleet whenever they're in Scorch Run. And you've built up a good rapport with him over the years. You have made it a habit to check in with him whenever you're visiting Scorch Run to see if he's heard any news about the fleet. And you usually have the discussion over brunch.
Okay.
Um, Smash cut to a local tavern. This is kind of where you always meet up. It is called the Lycanite,
How do you spell that?
which is it is a triple play on words that I'm going to
Oh
send you right
no.
now.
Jesus.
The Lycanite.
Like
It's Lycan Knight.
Oh my fucking god, Krista.
Um, the symbol of the Lycanite is a tiefling knight whose armor is covered in lichen and moss. So it's like lichen knight, but it's also lycanite because of the gemstone naming, and lycanite kind of sounds like a gemstone.
Mm-hmm.
The people who own the tavern think it's very clever.
It
Um,
is. It's really cute.
no matter the fact that I'm pretty sure that lycanite is not an actual stone.
I love
Um,
it.
brunch is meze, which is something that I have recently researched. It's Arabic breakfasts tend to be like a smorgasbord, almost of like various different
Yeah, Tom and I have
side
gone
dishes. Almost.
to, I think, a place that has stuff like that before.
That's cool. I love that.
Yee.
I have not because again, my dad is picky, and
Well,
I'm afraid to try new things
it
by
does
myself.
only fuck up my stomach a little bit if I get one of their spicy things, and then I'm like, ooh.
There is a yogurt dip, like a yogurt dip covered in oil with spices and vegetables on it. There's poached eggs. There's spiced cheese balls. There's flatbreads. There's samosas. The whole
Oh,
thing.
Keema's like chowing, especially since he said he's paying. She's like,
He's like, slow down. I've got 3 kids to feed. Just chill.
well, I'll pay you back.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to.
So,
Well,
have you heard anything new?
I'm really sorry, but unfortunately, it's no. I know that's not the news you wanted to hear. I've had Black Lion crawling up my ass for months, but still no sign of the else. And I take it you haven't had any news either if you're here. Unless you're just here to eat my samosa.
I
He
mean,
takes one off.
that too.
He takes one off of your plate and pops it in his mouth.
I mean, always that too. But, no. No, I haven't heard anything either.
Like an awkward silence between you for a minute.
Like, have you heard of any other sandstorms like that?
Well, I mean, not like it, but I don't. Short answer, no. Long answer, eh. Long answer, I've heard some folklore about some shit, but it doesn't sound similar enough.
Mm. You know, I'd bet the rest of the coin in my pocket that Seer pissed off some, like, ooh.
I wouldn't put it past her. She is not great.
Just,
And the only reason I'm not saying anything more is because she is still technically a client until I see a body. Uh,
I mean, you can say shit, I'm not gonna tell her.
you wouldn't, but
Yeah,
he's like
I
overly
know.
cautious about stuff. He try.
And no, Kimo was just like, yeah, I know, you're just fucking alright.
It comes with the business of working on like pirate sand ships. Like
Mm-hmm.
he always feels like he has to be a little careful about what he says.
And Kimo's always just like, loosen up. It's
He's like,
fine.
no, thank you. I've gotten into my 40s by not loosening up, so I'm good. Hey, maybe listen. I know that I'm not supposed to know about this place, but he kind of looks around and like leans in conspiratorially. Maybe now might be a good time to go check out that not so secret place down in Skylands.
Oh. Yeah, it really
Like
is
it,
like the worst kept secret.
yeah, like everybody knows about it. It's not. It's but like my point is, it's been like a year, like what, a year now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly, I still feel like it's the first place you should have looked.
Well, well, uh, I don't actually know specifically where it is.
Where it is? I thought you knew where it was.
No, Captain never took me. I don't know if she knew, but we never went there.
I guess I just assumed because you were so close. Oh, that
Yeah, there's
not
a lot
makes
of things
sense.
you'd think she'd say, but no.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Actually, I I don't know. I leave that up to you whether or not you would have told him about
I
the
I think
the details of the argument.
I think Kima would have told him the details of the argument, but would have left out the voice. I think
Sure.
the
Yeah.
only people that know about the voice are uh, Naren and probably Seer, just because she probably overheard it at one point, especially when Kima was like
Sure.
younger.
Yeah. For sure. Okay. Yeah, that totally makes sense. That's kind of where I was coming from on his comment as well.
Yeah.
But then I was like, pause. Let me make sure. Well, I mean, but you kind of know like generally what it is, right?
I-
You know enough.
yeah, generally, but I don't have a boat. I don't have a ship. I don't. Kind of hard to get there if you don't got one of those.
Well, I
I
mean, it's not
certainly
like you
don't have
can
the
use
coin
it in the
for it.
mountains anyway.
Eh.
It may take you longer to get down there. You got to walk or get a camel or a horse, but you've been doing that for the past year anyway.
Yeah, it's just harder to do on your own and with
No, I get
so little coin.
you. Well, it might be worth it. I feel like he kind of leans back in his chair and he's like, I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I feel like if they were destroyed, you would have found wreckage. Or someone would have in any case, and they'd have brought it into Sandmaw or Dryscar and given it to someone like me for salvage, but
Yeah, that I know that's the weird fucking thing about it. Like, where the
it's really
fuck did
weird.
they go? Like, did they just go up into the air? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. Well, if you do decide to go poke around in Skylands, uh, you might as well stop at a crossroad on your way through. The Tourneyad's opening ceremony is on the 13th, and
yeah.
from what I hear, some of the people looking to compete this year are interesting to say the least. So I feel like you'd be missing out if you went through Crossroad and didn't stop in just to watch. I'm mad that I can't go, but my son's birthday is on the 14th, so.
I'll take them with you.
Well, but then I have to take the whole family, and it's just a big. It's a lot, and I've got work, and who knows when Black Lion's gonna show up, and you know how testy they get if I'm not here. So
True. Hey, is there? I forget. What do they win at the tourney?
what don't they win? Yeah, it's
Like, I know
Rock Union
obviously
Training.
everyone fucking knows who you are, but like, is there any like thing monetary? Like, like, do they give you a
Yeah,
ship?
yeah. How that I mean? I don't think they give you a ship. They give you money to buy it, like enough money to buy a ship. Like people who are fucking who've won the tourney ad, they don't just become popular. They become set up. They have the money to remain popular. You remember that fucking crazy guy from last time? He was
Yeah.
fucking nuts, and he was he's still somehow popular, and he was crazy.
Hmm. Okay. I think I know how I'm gonna get to Skylands.
You're you're not Keema. With what team?
you just
You
said
need
there's
a
some
team.
interesting people down there. Maybe,
Well, yeah, but it's like they're on teams. Like there's a like heard that there might be an all tiefling team this year, which
oh,
is
that'd be,
wild.
damn, how'd they get that?
I don't fucking know. That's the rumor I've been
They're
hearing.
gonna
It's
fucking
fucking
get
crazy.
crushed.
I know. That's what I'm saying, man. I almost feel bad for him, but I mean, more power to them if they want to try. But like, the point is, they've already got a team
Well,
if they exist in the first place.
I'm sure. I mean, honestly, look at me. Who can say no to little me?
Well, look, I pretty sure I haven't been to the tourney ad since I was like a since I was in my 20s. Oh my god, that's been a while.
You're old.
He like shut the fuck up. He like takes another one of your samosas off your plate.
No, my food.
Um, he breaks it in half and gives you the other half. Uh, if you're gonna do it, I don't know if they're still doing this, but I feel like I remember when I was in town for the opening ceremonies many years ago. Um, I think they had like a they've got like their qualifying round where like all the teams get together and they determine like who the main five teams are going to be. But
Yeah.
before that, they have like the what's the term, like a bear pit style like fighting to match up to like gauge, because like some people will show up by themselves and then they'll like go do the fighting and then they'll like figure out a team and then but then you
See?
still have to qualify.
See, but that's
I'm not.
perfect. I don't have a team. I can just do that. Immediately get picked up by someone because they'll see how fucking great I am at this. And then we'll fucking go. We'll win. I will be recognized. Maybe then everyone will fucking finally see me and I'll see them because then they'll just see my face plastered everywhere and I'll have the money to get my own ship.
It could work.
It's absolutely going to work. This is going to be perfect.
You're crazy.
Maybe a little.
Well, if you decide to do it, if you wake up tomorrow and you decide that it's still a good idea, then I will be cheering you on from here.
Can't believe you're still not going to come and watch me.
Well, so I mean, the good news at least is that I've heard, they're always really cagey about like letting letting on what the different challenges are going to be, but
Mm
I've heard
hmm.
through a reliable source
Through
that
your
one
wife?
of the challenges, hold on, one of the challenges she says is going to be hosted here. So,
Oh.
and that'll be like, it'll be a couple of weeks like after my son's birthday, but it'll be still, it'll still be here. So if you get in, I'll probably see you sooner than you thought it was going to go.
I'm gonna get in. Don't worry about that. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
when I come back,
Uh-huh.
shit, do they pay you at that point? I don't know. You know what? Food's either gonna be on you or me. We'll find out then.
Oh God. Well, I don't know, man. You might be too busy. Like if you come, like when you come back, they keep those motherfuckers busy.
I can. There's always time for at least a drink.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Well, he picks up his he's got like a coffee and he holds it up and he's like, to Keema, the newest winner of the tourney ad. Like
Oh, I love the sound of that. To myself.
holy shit. And that, I think, is where we're going to pick up during session one.
Oh my fucking god.